I'm
Hi.
Cynthia, and Mark's over here doing all the technical. You'll get to see him. He'll be in and out, but I'm glad he's mostly in. But anyway, we're here to talk about something that I have to admit, at one point in my life, I thought it was the most crazy thing I'd ever heard of. And then, and it's called diffusing or diffusers. So I'm going to go back a little bit and tell you about a trip I took with my sister before I ever knew about. Well, actually, I knew about diffusers then, but I didn't know about Provence and where we get our lavender and why we get lavender in that place. So we were traveling through the southern part of France, and they had these little sachets you could buy that were just full of lavender fragrance, and they were the most exquisite things I think I've ever smelled as far as lavender is concerned. I just absolutely loved it. Bought a few, gave them out to lots of people. But at the time, I didn't really know that much about oils. I've known about oils for a long time. But I'd like to tell you a little bit about what that meant, just that aroma. And every time I think about lavender, guess where my mind goes? Oh, it's spelled ARLES every time. And I think about the little place where I purchased it. I could probably recreate it for you because it was so memorable in my olfactories, and it's just an easy memory for me to pull. So I'm going to go back a little bit further and tell you about this. This is a heated diffuser top. It has another part to it that I forgot to get out, and that's where the oil comes out. But first it circulates up here, and then it waves its way out. So that's just one that you use with heat. Now, the problem with heat is that it changes the structure of the oil. And so it loses some of its efficacy as far as any kind of health benefits are concerned when we start heating it. In fact, a lot of the things that are processed for us as far as heating is concerned are very low temperature, so that we won't lose the efficacy of those plants while we're smelling them. And the efficacy, the effectiveness of the plants are going to be super important for us. All right, so that was my first one. And all I knew from the person that showed me this, she's like, oh, you're going to want to put it in here because it's going to be very helpful to like stimulating the brain response. I'm like, what is she talking about? I had no idea. It was something out of, I don't know. I felt like I was in a sci-fi movie somehow, and I was going to, get transported to another realm of molecular distribution. And I just didn't understand what it was all about. And this is what it looks like. And then there was this big long thing that was attached, and it looks kind of spooky. And I just did not get it all. But then I started thinking about when I was a little girl and how I used Vicks Vapor Rub for when I was sick. And I don't know if you did, but I did. You rub it on your chest. And I used to put this kind of like, I don't know, big thing around my neck and just smell it all night long. And, just anytime I could have it flowing around me, it would help me so that I wouldn't get coughs. But it probably wasn't the best thing I could do, but it was something, right? And so the next things that I thought about using besides this little heat diffuser was something like this, which is just a regular water-filled humidifier. And it's also a heated thing. So once again, you do something to the oils when you heat them. So this is what I used next, was just something, and it says you're not supposed to put the oils in it, but I thought, well, I'm going to anyway, and then I'll see what happens. And it didn't seem to be a problem. So I kept doing that. And then we're going to kind of fast forward to what happened next. And that was the oil industry exploded. Thank you to doTERRA. And where there are millions of people now in the world who use essential oils for health benefits. And that's what we're going to focus on tonight. So as soon as I learned about what the health benefits were, the first thing I did was to say goodbye to my heat lamp diffuser, because I realized that I wasn't getting the health benefits. And then I started using this, which is also heat related, but does make my car smell good. So I use it anyway for the smell. And I plug it into my, I guess they're cigarette, or what do they call them now? Your utility outlet in the car. So I put that in there and smell away. Yeah. And it's shaped like you think that it's doing something that just, moves the air around and pushes it out, but it doesn't really do that. It just evaporates, and it's a nice smell. And so you can use that. And then the next kind that I started to use was something like this. This is really cool, right? It gives you the ohms and everything, and you can use it while you're doing your yoga because it changes colors and it's really pretty. Or you don't have to have it change colors, and it can just be somewhere nice looking. So that was the next thing that I learned about, was something like this. And I learned that this one was actually done with, it's called a vaporizing situation, right? So this diffuser actually has a little metal plate at the bottom, and it kind of changes the molecular distribution. So you get a mist, but it's not really like this one where it was evaporating. You're getting just atomizing into a smaller molecular structure. And so you get this lovely smell, and you get the health benefits. Really, really important. Here's another kind you can use. This is just an air one. And if you open it up, I don't know if I can do that right now. It has a little fan, and it turns around, and you can plug it into your computer, and that's really great. And then once you know it, as soon as all these things started coming out, there was another kind that's an air only diffuser, but it was so noisy that I don't see them around very much anymore. They were just kind of like, you knew that the diffuser was on pushing that atomized stuff out without any water. Somehow the water would be a lot quieter.
Kind of reminded me of if you remember the old bubble aerator things that go in your aquarium to make the bubbles go.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what it sounded like.
Yeah. Oh, so Mark was living in an aquarium.
Every time we turned that on, I was thinking, oh, aquarium, okay.
That's great.
It didn't smell like an aquarium, but at least it was.
And then, Home Medics and everybody else is now promoting a way that you can put your essentials into regular humidifiers. What? So you can get them anywhere. You can get these things anywhere. And they'll sell you anything that they say is essential oils. So I have a lot of people saying, okay, well, I have those essential oils, so I'm great, right? Well, using those essential oils was kind of like where I started. Smells good, doesn't do much for you. And in fact, it can do the opposite, because it'll have a lot of synthetics in it to make you feel like you're smelling a wild orange, or you're smelling lemon, or you're smelling peppermint, but it's really not that. Now, I appreciate science, and that they can molecularly change and figure out exactly what it is that we're going to smell with these wonderful smells. So we're going to go to the first slide and just talk about what happens when we smell. We're going to just go over, we just have a couple of slides. It's really easy and things that you already know. So the first thing that we know when we smell is it goes somewhere into our head. And if you've ever had like burned popcorn, you know how bad that smells, right? And I bet every one of you can tell me when you smelled burned popcorn last, because it's just so poignant or pungent. So here's our olfactory system. So you're smelling, and it doesn't feel like there's not much in there, because we've got a lot of tissue that's inside. So this is kind of like somewhere between tissue and not tissue. I'm looking over at the screen that you're seeing so I can remember what's here. So the cool thing about this is you smell it in, and you can even open your mouth and it'll go up there too, because they're all connected. All these things have kind of tube-like ways to move smells through your head. And as soon as it gets in through your olfactories, it starts to circulate in the body. And it's one of the fastest ways that you can get oils into your body. You know, it's almost as fast as sublingual under your tongue, yeah, to get it into your whole system. So fast, because there aren't many pathways that it hasn't already passed through to get it there. So you're actually getting those in a very, I'd call it non-invasive way. So you're smelling these incredible smells and you're getting the health benefits of them all at the same time. Plus, if you remember what I was talking about, if you've got some oils now, you'll remember this going. But if you remember what I was talking about, you'll have the opportunity to have that smell with you as well. So what good is that smell? It's going to help you have better memory. What? Why didn't anybody tell us that when we were taking our tests somewhere back in school, right? So we can pocket that and recreate that experience where we remembered something with that oil. Amazing. So then you can just pull up that memory by smelling it again. Isn't that awesome? I think that's just remarkable. And now, once again, back to the olfactories. Right behind the olfactories is the amygdala. And the amygdala is where all of your hormones are regulated. And so the messages are sent out through the entire body about how we should feel. Right there, right in back of the olfactories. So here we have these wonderful olfactories. They're already circulating the oils through our body. They're opening up our airways. They go everywhere. And then you have the amygdala right behind it. And all of those wonderful things that help with essential oils and emotional response are all right there working for us immediately. Wow. So what a double pack. And it's so gentle that you don't really know that that's what's going on. That's what's amazing. It's just so gentle. You can have this just kind of in the background in your kitchen. You can put it in your bathrooms. Yes. You can put it in the laundry room. You can do it in the car. You can have it all over the place, and you can create certain effects for your own health just by sticking 5 little drops into a container like this that'll go for hours. 5 drops. I mean, sometimes we think we have to put a ton of oils all over us, but the reality is 5 drops goes a long way in helping to create some really good health aspects.
And one that for me has been really, really important with diffusing is with mood lifting. That's something that's been a challenge for me in my life, and it's just amazing to me when I first got introduced to these oils, like the wild orange, and for me arbor vitae, and some of these oils that are such great mood enhancers. And I would notice an immediate effect when I diffused it and I smelled it. It would just immediately go to my brain.
Yeah,
and
right into that amygdala.
And my emotion center, and it lifts my mood so dramatically. It's quite amazing.
It is amazing, isn't it? Yeah. How fast it can work. I mean, we're talking within seconds. You can change the way your brain is responding.
And there have been some really cool studies done as well in hospital settings and other settings where they diffuse and they then don't diffuse, and they actually notice a marked difference in the patient's moods and their approach to life.
So, you can be doing this for your children who have clogged up lungs and have problems with even things that are going on like conjunctivitis, right? You can put something like this out, and rather than thinking of putting oils on little faces, you can just have this around, and it helps to destroy the inflammatory response, which is awesome, and also increases the way that the body responds properly to bacteria to destroy that effect and the viruses. So, they have some really incredible medical benefits, which is awesome. because you can help your body heal itself. I mean, who doesn't want to do that? We can have so much better health, and especially this time of year, we're stuck inside. We've been stuck inside for a while now, but we're stuck inside. So we may want to have it in a humidifier. It's pretty dry where we live. And so, just to have the air full of something good to breathe is going to really help the body be stronger.
I just read recently that in our climate here in Utah, because it's so dry, when we turn on our heaters in the middle of winter, when it's super dry outside, the humidity in our homes can actually be lower than in the Sahara Desert.
Wow.
So that was like,
wow.
That so shocked me. And so I'm thinking, well, this puts a little bit of humidity into the air besides all the wonderful health benefits. And then if you're using a humidifier, which is a great idea in the winter, why not add a little oil to that and get the double benefit of the humidity and the oil that's going to be such a benefit for you.
So right there, you're helping your olfactories, your circulation system. Let's move to the next slide.
Okay.
Thanks, Mark. So the next thing is just how the olfactories work and why you've got this working is there's so much blood going through right there, right? So it's just going to pull it through the entire body, which is fantastic. And here's what your circulatory system looks like if you took away the skin. And you'll see that, if you can get something going, it goes through the entire body. A lot of times we forget that we absorb through the skin. So even right here, this is absorbing into my skin. So it's not just going through my olfactories, it's going right into my skin from being right here. And it'll clean the surface here on my table. It has, it just goes on and on and on, all the incredible things that you can experience with these oils. Next. And it helps to circulate things. It increases the oxygenation of the body's fluids. So here are just some of them that we were talking about. The one that you see is like this one. And all of these are doTERRA available. And then you put that little oil drops right inside and then just let it go. And hours later, refill. Some of them go all night long, so you've got it going. Some of them go for 4 hours, so you change it in the middle of the day. Most of them are shorter than 4 hours. And enjoy the experience of having these wonderful oils. Next. Oops, there was one more slide.
Oh, there was?
Yeah, where'd it go? So there's another slide. And we're just basically going to rehash what we said with what you can do. So remember, you can use this to help your kids remember things. Yeah. So they don't just have to remember their dirty socks because they stink, right? But you can actually have an oil going and then let them know, we're going to just try something. Let's have you memorize this spelling test and we'll have wild orange for you. And then when you take the spelling test, just take a whiff of wild orange and see if it takes you back there and help them start to learn some memory cues from utilizing essential oils. Just like I did back in Aura. And I can remember being on a beach and I can remember being out on a dock with smelly fish. I can remember those things and I remember immediately what the smell was. And you can too. You can have that every single time and it'll help you increase your memory. It can change the mood because it actually changes your brainwave frequency. It's shown to do that in medical testing. So you can do all these things to help the body respond so much more naturally. And are there side effects? No. If you use pure, wonderful, very well tested oils, which doTERRA has, then you are going to end up with the best results. And that's what we're looking for. We're not just looking for a nice smell. We're looking for something that's actually going to help us be more healthy when we finish the road that we're on. So we invite you to try all these things. We invite you to try one. Try one, figure out your very favorite. See why, and then start thinking, why is this my favorite? What am I feeling like when I'm using this? Am I experiencing, greater lung capacity? Do I feel like I'm more energetic? Because it's doing that to your body and it's helping you be healthier. And even with the Vicks Vapor Rub, that's like eucalyptus and it's like wintergreen, and it has all these wonderful things in it. You can put that really good stuff instead of something that's chemically formed into this, and then you can breathe that and help get rid of those awful effects and symptoms that the colds have for you.
It's so cool to do different experiments. I have a diffuser right by my bed, and some nights, depending on how I'm feeling that night, if I just want to have a really nice restful sleep and have my mood lifted, I'll do something for mood. Sometimes I'm feeling like, I feel like I got kind of exposed today, or I'm not feeling quite up to speed physically. So I'll put On Guard in or something like that. That'll give me a little bit of a boost and a little bit of more protection. Sometimes, like you said, eucalyptus to help me breathe better, or breathe. So it's really fun and beneficial to experiment and to customize it to what you need for that particular night or that particular day.
So we're not going to tell you which oil to use because there's so many, but when we get off tonight, we're going to we'll talk a little bit longer. You're welcome to get on to our website and get onto our Zoom if you would like to join that. We'd love to have you there and we can continue the conversation. So see you next week and enjoy your diffusers. Enjoy them. It's worth it. Bye-bye.
Enjoy.